from the sounds of it, you guys already know I'm about to break down Drake the Motion for you guys today. This is going to be a exclusive Maschine Masters tutorial by me, MG the Future. Psych. Psych on the Drake part. Today is definitely not going to be a Drake day. I have noted your guys' grievances about me doing a lot of Drake material. However, I think you guys, not all of you, but some of you may perceive that I do way more videos than I actually do. I think I've only done about two actual Drake technique videos, and the rest are just sound packs that reflect that. So, but I do understand that people want to expand in different directions, or want me to expand in different directions, and I'll definitely do that in this video. Also, I want to address some other grievances in the comment section. So while I'm on the topic of Drake real quick, a lot of people ask me, why do we Maschine Masters cover topics or producers that are famous? And I can only answer that for me personally, is that no one is checking for MG the Future. At least not yet, not in this current timeline at least. No one comes here to see what I'm about. And that's fortunate and unfortunate, but because I'm aware of that coming into it, I have a whole different attitude about my purpose here. My purpose here is to be as best of a resource that I can be to you guys, especially those who are curious and those who are in wonder. So while I'm talking about that, what I mean by that is, when I came up as a producer on the internet, the only thing that I really had access to are very old Angel Fire tripod type websites. Sometimes you might get a book out of a store, you know. I have plenty of them here. You know, some old dusty book like this, so on and so forth, and it's not really helpful. And you meet other producers who are making remarkable music even back in 2001, and the only way you could really reach them is that you use an AOL Instant Messenger, and there's only but so much that text can convey. So I had a very strong disadvantage when it comes to learning how to make music, and in the theme of this video, quote unquote, learning music theory. Even going further than that, if I was lucky, I'd get a FLP file of some incomplete beat that someone's going to throw away, and then that's how I learned about arranging and setting up mixer channels. So it's a very slow and deadly process, and especially when during that time you see people like Pharrell, Timbaland, Scott Storch, all these guys all but blow up, and you're listening to their music at my age at that time, you're like, what is that? What does that sound? What keyboard is that? And the internet was a way more interesting place back then. You would think that everything about hip hop was a 4chan channel or a Reddit channel, very unorganized and survival of the fittest for real. So me being a little bit older now, I'm about to be 31. So I've been doing this since I was 15. So I don't stand to compete with anybody or to prove anything. There's a lot that has been done within the time I was given. So at this current phase of my life, is to remove the wonder from a lot of different techniques and a lot of different production styles to make it easier for you guys to transition and develop your own. I don't know that people think about creativity intellectually, but humans can only do something we call synthetic creation, meaning we don't come up with something out of nothing, really. Some of us may pretend we do, but we take one concept and another and we combine them. So for instance, one can say Ryan Leslie is the best of Timbaland, Scott Storch, and Pharrell. Ryan Leslie does what all three of them do. Scott Storch and Dr. Dre even. And you look at all the other West Coast producers that have that flair with the pianos. So on and so forth. We're really not as original as we think we are. So I don't subscribe to that idea that, you know, this is selling out or this is anything really. It's free information for those who are curious. And what's very interesting about wonder and curiosity is that people watch these videos to see what I or the other brothers are doing, but they don't watch it for us, they watch it for themselves. Because you really want to know how to do these things, not so that you can see how Q-Tip does it, not so you can see how the Neptunes or Drake and Noah do it. You actually want to know how you can do it. And the reason why you want to know how you can do it is because somewhere in you, there's an idea or concept you need to give birth to that needs these particular techniques based on your synthetic creation. You've heard this filtered pad from here. You heard this 8/0 drop from over here with Flume and the boys. You got these crazy SWAT triplet hi-hats in the middle. And you need to learn each particular part and combine it all together to create something original. So I can't do that in one video. It'll probably take me a year worth of videos to really convey everything that I can teach. So that's my prequel to this video. Please, you guys don't have to leave any comments against me because I am here for you. I'm here to help you, certain people who need it, to get cross over different creative humps and to have a framework of mind to take the mystery away from a lot of things that are really simple. I mean, I had one comment saying, why do I take 20 minutes to teach a low pass filter? And granted, that's what you can call it, but there's a whole bunch of different ways to do that. There's even better filters to use. Like, a lot of people don't know the UAD Sonics Oxford EQ is the best filtered in digital format. There's levels to the levels even. So that's that. I'm off that. Right now, though, what I do want to talk about, though, is the people who ask me about the R&B chords, who ask me about how to learn music theory and things like that. And as you heard with this song, it goes something like this. Real simple chords there. They're mainly inversions. So that's what I want to go over first. I'm going to get a better sounding piano. When you're learning piano, I want you guys to stick to a piano sound. It may not make a whole lot of sense, but there's a subconscious reason for it. Because people ask you, what instrument do you know how to play? I know how to play piano. Although in our case, we're really just learning 4 chords on any instrument that sounds dope. But yeah, definitely use piano sounds. See if I can find a good one. In Omnisphere, if you guys have it, just the simple dreamy piano again is the wave. All right, so the first thing I would do if I was beginning and I was watching people like me, or in my case, if I watch people like Tommy D, who's an anomaly, one day I'll do a video of him just playing how he really plays. He quote unquote has to dumb down when he shows me things or we make music together. But I start with scales, learning a scale, and then once I learn the scale, I branch off into learning the chords in that scale. And then once I have that, everything else is just hand movement and arpeggios. And I think that's all you ever have to really learn in terms of beginning to produce, and let your ear guide you outside of that. And I'm going to attempt to show you what I mean by that on this side. So I have the picture of my keyboard, and I'm going to show you the C major scale. And when I learned it mathematically, as in patterns. We have and C is just, and that's 7 keys. So every scale is going to have 7 keys. Let me see if I can move my microphone. Every scale is going to have 7 keys, and that means every scale is going to have 7 chords. So it's like C, D, E, F, G, A, B. But for the most part, most music only deals with the patterns of 1, 4, and 5. 1, 4, and 5, even in a minor scale, which that was in C minor. So I think if you're just learning and picking up, I would stick with that 1, 4, 5. And if you could do 1, 4, 5 in C, then you could probably do 1, 4, 5 in A as well. And you get all 12 scales, all 12 major scales under your belt of just learning the 1, 4, 5. And in some kind of serendipitous way, you end up learning how to play all your chords. But what's important about 1, 4, 5, them being relative of each other, it does something differently to how you hear it and how you train to hear other songs that also almost always use 1, 4, and 5. So I would learn 1, 4, and 5 out of a scale, out of every scale, practice every day. So do 1, 4, or 5 out of C, out of D, out of E, out of F, every major scale, and then switch to minors the next day. And just keep alternating until you get, 3 chords times 12 is like 36 different chords most of the time. Some of them are shared, of course. And you'll pretty much have it as far as starting to write your own chords. That's where I would start personally, if I had to start all over and reteach myself. The next part I want to kind of talk about is if you've already been through that and you have that memory, again, 1, 4, and 5, I use sites like this to look up things from a technical standpoint. And I think I showed you guys this in previous videos about music theory, is that these are relatives. These are relative majors, these are relative minors. And if you do a equal pie slice from C to A or from C to E flat, but in this case, the section has lit up, C major to A minor, they're relatives. They're the same exact keys, and I'll show you this when I switch it to minor. They're the same exact positioning, same pie slices. The only thing that's different, you'll notice, is that the 1, 4, and 5 became minor. So you see why it's so important to learn 1, 4, and 5. Because if I learned it in C, which was up here, C, F, and G, and then I switched to A, I'm in the same scale already. So you're actually learning 2 for 1, although it's 6 different chords. I'll try to make more sense of that later. And then once you graduate from that practice, you can then look up other songs and look at what they're doing. This one is doing a 2 for the intro, then a 4 and a 1. And there's tons of hip hop songs and R&B songs here to learn as well. And then if you want to get even groovier, you can go to chordify.net and type in a YouTube link of a song that's out, and it looks for the chords for you. What's a little bit trickier about this one is that it's 75% accurate. And what I do with sites like this, I look at what I see a lot of. I see a lot of A flat in here. I see C in here, and a lot of G and A minor. So I would look at my charts like these and kind of find out where that A minor is and C, and find out what scale it is, or just make up one. I'll play all of them until I play by ear out of all these chords. Once I get the right progression by practicing, I'll know what it is, and then I'll put it in the right key, and you can transpose and flip it. Another thing I do to help me learn music theory, which is different than what other people do because I'm more of a technical person, I write it down. I don't know if you guys can see that. I have charts that I created of hit songs or songs that I like, my favorite songs, and I find the key of it and I simplify it into numbers. So for instance, 1, 4, and 5. I have a lot of 1, 5, 6, 4s, a lot of 6, 4, 1, 5s, etc., etc., etc. And once you know the numbers, you can then play those same numbers on any scale. And that's the objective, at least. So that's how I fake it until I make it. And then once you really overstand that and you're really good at playing that way, you can then jump out of that. You can then just start playing random chords together as such. And then you can get even more in depth, and you can start adding on to your chords. You start going from 3-note chords to 4-note chords. That's a 1, 4, 5. Same thing. And then you just mix them up. You do a 3, then a 4, then a 3. And then you can do inversions and stuff. So on and so forth and so forth. And as you get better, even with just learning inversions, when you do like C's, they're the same spacing and distance from each other. So it's really, in repetition, it becomes part of your muscle memory. of playing the 1/4/5 inversions, playing the 1/4/5 fourths or the 1/4/5 sevenths, and the sustains, and you'll see all these charts on the internet explaining each type of chord. I would just learn them within your scale, within your 1/4/5, over and over again for every key that you feel like going through. That's me personally. But for the last part of this video, I want to show you guys, in me making charts and in me talking to producers almost every day for a decade, there's something very peculiar about the way I learn it, and looking at it mathematically, looking at it as a pattern, is that most music is the same. And a lot of people will grandstand and say it's not, or they'll grandstand and hear or find a difference. But as most people say, numbers don't lie. In this case, patterns don't lie. A lot of music is based on this 1/4/5 in 6, or 1/4/5. No, I take that back. Almost every hot song that you'll ever hear in pop radio or pop urban radio is 1/4/5 and 6. And that combination of 4 chords mixed together. But I want to be very clear. It's 1/4/5 major keys, 6 is a minor key. And I'll give you some examples of that. I'm just going to show you 6/4/1/5 first. So a lot of those songs, the pop chord progression, I'm going to show you something when I play that again. I'm going to do 4, or in this case is our F. Then I'm going to go to 6, in this case, which is our A. And then I'm going to come back down to our 5, which is going to be G. And then I'm going to go to 1, which should be C. But I'm just going to invert it. So it's smooth. So it's instead of it being way up here. Or even something like this. And those set of chords, the 1/4, the 5, and the 6, and similar, any inversion of that, was very important to pay attention to when you try this yourself, is that they're all pretty much the same chord. So if I do 1, and then I do 5, and then I do 4, and then I do 6. So 1, 5, and 4, and then 6. It'll just overlap here. It's just one long chord, one key after the other within C major, of course. And if you play those 4 chords, you're going to see how they overlap with each other, but almost, if not every, super song has this arrangement of keys. It's every other key within the scale. In fact, it's all 7 keys of the scale, and they're all overlapping each other. I want to try another one real quick, which is more appropriate for R&B tracks, which is the 4/5/6/1. So I know a lot of people ask me about that. Or you can add an inversion on it so the 1 chord doesn't jump so far up. And that's a lot of the songs with Neo, Chris Brown, etc. So I would get into that that major 4, major 5, minor 6, major 1 pattern and repetition if you can, because a lot of the hit songs, especially for whatever reason, they're also, a lot of them are mixed by Jason Joshua. Those songs are in that chord progression, even if they're in a different key. And if you use programs like Ableton, even Maschine has it, you could do scale. So this is a major chord MIDI modifier. So if I hit one key, it's a chord. But if I confine it to a scale, which we'll find one real quick, we'll do a major scale. I can do the same thing with just single keys, just 1, 4, 5, 6. Or in this case, 4, 5, 6, 1. Or the other ones. And you'll hear all the songs in me doing that. We're not going to take it. You're going to hear your Maroon 5s. You're going to hear everybody in those 4 chords, man. So for the most part, this is a very general information only video, but I wanted to get that off to share with you guys, especially with the holidays and the weekend and extended weekends coming. You guys can practice that. It's 1, 4, 5 in a major scale, and then 6. And then, of course, if you look at the charts, if you go from a major scale, C, 1, 4, 5, and the 6, which becomes C, F, G, A minor, you could just flip that to A minor scale and do the same thing, 1, 4, 5, 6, sort of. Although the numbers change, it becomes more like 3, 6, 7, minor 1. But you could also flip the same pattern upside down and do 1, 4, 5, 6 in major. But it's not the same thing as far as the major feeling and that major sound when you do 1, 4, 5, 6. It's a whole different beast. But the same pattern works in minor. You just get a different, not so much, it's not the quote unquote hit format. So for you guys that may not know that, I wanted to give that to you guys. It's a bit more advanced, and some may even criticize that that's too easy, but that's why I'm here. Music production is very easy. It's learning all of these things and then adding your own expression to it, which makes it unique. The mixing, the mastering, the sound design, the arrangements, the tempos you use. I even have a chart on hit song tempos that is very curious what numbers they use. So I'm MG the Future with Maschine Masters. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you want me to break down anything else in this same format, please let me know. I plan on doing some more videos over the holidays, and like I said, I respond to every comment and I do my best to cover all these subjects. Until next time.